All right. So I was doing a little bit of research on whether anyone can be successful in America, and I came across a study from the Brookings Institute that said that the reason why most single motherhood in the Black community is high is actually has nothing to do with welfare, but has to do with shotgun marriages.
Has to do
So
with
I want to get your
shotgun.
thoughts on that.
You mean the lack of shotgun marriages?
The lack,
Yeah,
yeah.
because back in the day, before there was welfare, generally speaking, you got somebody pregnant. It became not only a moral crisis, it was a financial crisis because there was no government support. So often people got married because of a pregnancy.
So you're saying that kind of took away from that culture?
Absolutely, it did. Now I'm not saying that shotgun weddings were a good thing, but I think the alternative, basically, giving somebody food stamps, an apartment, daycare vouchers, transportation vouchers, women, infant, and children care, all that stuff. In every single state, a mother with 2 children makes more money on welfare than she would make if she were to work a minimum wage job. Now, DeWitt, your question is whether or not it is true that welfare is incentivizing women to marry the government, a line that I've used many, many times. I'll tell you why I say this, DeWitt. There was an extensive article in the LA Times in 1985 where they asked poor people and non-poor people a whole bunch of questions. I urge you to take a look at it. And one of the questions is whether or not poor people often or frequently have additional children to get additional money. The majority of non-poor people, DeWitt, said no. They probably thought it was insulting, if not racist. 64% of poor people said yes to that proposition. So my question for people that don't agree with me is this: in 1996, as you know, Bill Clinton signed the Welfare Reform Act. We had a good economy, to be sure, but welfare rolls decreased by 50%. What did the Welfare Reform Act do? It did 2 things. It put time limits on welfare for the first time, and for the first time, you didn't get additional money if you had additional children. All of a sudden, a whole bunch of able-bodied people, DeWitt, found jobs. Now, you tell me why.
Because they wanted to take advantage of the system.
And one more thing. In that big, extensive 1985 LA Times survey, people on welfare were asked, do you believe that welfare is a crutch that causes dependency, or do you believe that welfare is a temporary stopgap in order to get you to the path of self-sufficiency? More called it a crutch than called it a path to self-sufficiency, 41 to 31% respectively.
But why do you think that the Brookings Institute would say that? So here I'm reading it right now. It says 60% of the Black increase has to do with shotgun marriages.
What that meant is 60% of the increase has to do with no longer are there shotgun marriages, meaning now government stepped in and has taken the place of an income of a father who marries the mother of his child. That's what I guess it means, because also DeWitt, the Brookings Institution said this: there are 3 things you need to do to escape poverty. The same organization you just now quoted said, first, finish high school. Second, don't have a kid before you get married. Third, get married first.
So you're saying that it actually is welfare, but it's not like it affected the culture, but it's not directly welfare.
Yeah, it has affected the culture. And I also would urge you to do this too, DeWitt. The National Review, the magazine that was founded by William F. Buckley, the conservative magazine, did a review on the 50th anniversary of Lyndon Johnson's War on Poverty, which started in 1965. And a whole bunch of people are writing pieces about it. And the consensus is it was a bad idea because it incentivized women to, as I said, marry the government and allowed men to abandon their financial and moral responsibility. DeWitt, thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it.